Ah, the movie that made Paul Newman and Robert Redford the ultimate bromance duo of the 1970s. Directed by George Roy Hill, this film is a love letter to grifters, card sharps, and anyone who's ever tried to sell a bridge to a sucker. It's a period piece set in the 1930s, complete with sepia tones, ragtime music, and enough fedoras to make a hipster convention jealous. But let's not kid ourselves. This movie is basically a 2-hour magic trick where the filmmakers are the real con artists, and we, the audience, are the marks. The story follows Johnny Hooker, played by Robert Redford, a small-time grifter who accidentally steals from a big-time mobster, Doyle Lonergan, portrayed by Robert Shaw. When Lonergan's goons kill Hooker's mentor, Luther, played by Robert Earl Jones, who, fun fact, is James Earl Jones's dad, Hooker teams up with Henry Gondorff, a legendary con artist played by Paul Newman, who's been lying low after the feds started breathing down his neck. Together, they decide to pull off the ultimate sting to avenge Luther and take Lonergan for all he's worth. Now, if you're thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of work for a revenge plot, you're not wrong. But hey, this is the 1930s. People didn't have Netflix or TikTok, so they had to entertain themselves by orchestrating elaborate scams that would make even the most seasoned Wall Street broker blush. The movie is divided into chapters, which is a fancy way of saying, we couldn't figure out how to make this convoluted plot flow naturally, so here are some title cards to help you keep up. Each chapter builds toward the big con, which involves fake betting parlors, fake cops, fake deaths, and probably a fake mustache or two. By the end, you'll be so confused that you'll start questioning whether we're part of the con all along. Let's start with Paul Newman as Henry Gondorff. Newman is basically playing the cool uncle you wish you had, the one who teaches you how to play poker, lets you sip his whiskey, and then convinces you to bet your allowance on a rigged horse race. He's charming, he's suave, and he's got those piercing blue eyes that make you forget he's technically a criminal. Then there's Robert Redford as Johnny Hooker. Redford is the golden boy of Hollywood, and he knows it. He spends most of the movie flashing his megawatt smile and looking like he just stepped out of a J. Crew catalogue from the Great Depression. Hooker is supposed to be the rookie, but let's be real, Redford is so naturally charismatic that you never quite buy him as the inexperienced underdog. Together, Newman and Redford have more chemistry than a high school science lab. Their banter is sharp, their camaraderie is infectious, and their combined good looks are almost unfair to the rest of the cast. As for the villain, Robert Shaw's Doyle Lonergan is the kind of guy who probably kicks puppies for fun. He's a ruthless mobster with a temper shorter than a toddler's attention span. Shaw plays him with just the right amount of menace, but let's be honest, he's basically there to make Newman and Redford look even cooler by comparison. If we're a person, it would be that guy at the party who insists on dressing like it's the 1930s, because he thinks it makes him interesting. The movie is dripping with period-appropriate details, from the costumes to the sets to the music. Speaking of the music, the ragtime score by Marvin Hamlisch is so catchy that you'll find yourself humming The Entertainer for weeks after watching the movie. But let's talk about the sepia tones. Oh, the sepia tones. The filmmakers decided to give the movie a nostalgic, old-timey look by bathing everything in a warm, yellowish hue. It's like they dunked the entire film in a vat of weak tea and called it artistic. The heart of it is, of course, the cons. The movie is basically a how-to guide for scamming your way through life, complete with step-by-step instructions. There's the wire con, the fake cop con, the fake death con, and probably a few others that I lost track of because my brain can only handle so much trickery. The big con, which involves setting up a fake betting parlor to swindle Lonergan out of $500,000, is so elaborate that it makes Ocean's 11 look like a bunch of amateurs. There are fake employees, fake bets, fake fights, and even a fake FBI raid. By the time it's over, you'll be so impressed by the sheer audacity of it all that you'll forget to ask why no one just robbed a bank instead. But here's the thing about cons in movies. They're only fun if you don't think about them too hard. The moment you start questioning the logistics, like how they managed to build an entire fake betting parlor in what appears to be a matter of days, or why Lonergan doesn't just hire a private investigator to check out Gondorf, the whole thing falls apart. No con movie would be complete without a twist ending, and delivers one that's as satisfying as it is ridiculous. Without giving too much away, because spoilers are the ultimate con, let's just say that the movie pulls the rug out from under you not once but twice. By the time the credits roll, you'll be equal parts impressed and annoyed that you didn't see it coming. But here's the real twist. The movie itself is a con. It tricks you into thinking you're watching a clever, sophisticated caper when, in reality, it's just a bunch of attractive people running around in fancy clothes, pulling off scams that would never work in real life. And yet you can't help but love it. That's the genius of It's a Con so good that even when you know you've been had, you still want to shake the con artist's hand and ask for an autograph. So, is a masterpiece? Well, that depends on your definition of masterpiece. If you're looking for a tightly plotted, intellectually stimulating film that holds up under scrutiny, this might not be it. But if you're in the mood for a fun, stylish romp with two of the most charismatic actors to ever grace the silver screen, then is worth every minute of its runtime. Sure, the plot is convoluted, the twists are ridiculous, and the sepia tones are a bit much. But at the end of the day, is like a magician's sleight of hand. It's not about how it works, it's about how it makes you feel. And this movie makes you feel like you've just been let in on the biggest secret in the world, even if that secret is just, hey, we tricked you into having a good time. So grab some popcorn, put on your best fedora, and let Newman and Redford take you for a ride. Just don't be surprised if you walk away feeling a little lighter in the wallet, because after all, the real sting is on you.